oh my gosh, this is awakening. This is the path. You can be initiated into it, you can be forced into it, you can be catalyzed into it, whatever word you want to use, or you can just choose this because you have that spiritual will within you, and you just want to choose this. But I will tell you right now, it's not coming from the outsider. Is it not going to be a savior? There's no chosen ones in the sense of to even think that you're chosen means you think you're special, which means you're separating yourself from the whole. We get to choose ourselves. We are the ones who are choosing to align with the all. Hey there, Alex here. Welcome. I just decided I needed to put in a part 4. I just did the 3 videos prior, so make sure you've watched those, because I would just be completely remiss to not include, obviously, what's happening as we're up spiraling and working with these two energies, with the masculine and the feminine energies, and we're alchemizing on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, trying to turn what these distorted thoughts and feelings are back into a wholeness, back into love, by working with our energies and basically tightening the spiral as we move up the scale of consciousness, the frequency of our being. Okay, our core resonant frequency. Yes, we go up and down all day, right? That's what the spiral is all about. But the core starts to go up, 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 up as we're moving into the heart. So if you're not tracking this yet, please go back and start with just with this little series with part 1, and that will really help. And so we're moving up the spiral, we're moving into higher and higher bandwidths, which I will always pull up as we're moving into self-realization. Okay, and then of course the oneness really kicks in right here at around 540, 500 and 540 being love and unconditional love. That's what brings us into, I mean, think about it. Unconditional love means there's no conditions that can basically rock you. There's no separation. There's no duality thinking. There's no deciding this is right or wrong or bad or what have you. In unity consciousness, or in that oneness, that first level really of enlightenment, if you will, you can love unconditionally because there are no conditions that matter. Fifth dimensional consciousness is also part of that. And there's a lot of things that happen in that as well, in terms of what we have access to. Okay, so we're tuning into the higher self. And then we start to, in that multi-dimensional new way of being, as we're moving up, we're able to start tuning into higher and higher and higher aspects of the self, the capital self, and move into the cosmos, if you will. That's the spirit light vehicle. That's what the Merkaba is. Okay. So again, working with masculine and feminine, what happens is, instead of the wounded, the distorted masculine and feminine that we're really dealing with on a day-to-day basis when our frequency is low down here, as we're coming around and looping and getting up further and further up that scale and up those frequencies, what's happening is we're starting to tune in more and more and more. We're strengthening on our connection with our higher self. We're making more and more room to embody and pull that higher self through so that it can begin to manifest more consciously, of course, in this dimension, here in the physical dimension that we live in. So you're bringing your higher aspects of higher dimensions into the physical lower. So you don't lose anything. You're not leaving one plane to reach another one. We're not bypassing and just going into a high samadhi or bliss state with our eyes closed on the mountain, or contemplating our navel or something and escaping everything to just have a mind experience. No, we're bringing it through. We're bringing all the thoughts through the heart. We're bringing the heart and the mind together, the masculine, feminine together. And so as we're moving up, creativity of the feminine, the creativity and the intuition and the wisdom and the will of the spirit of the feminine is now coming into a beautiful harmony and balance with the masculine, which is here in the body with matter, with frequency, okay, and with, with that vibration and matter and energy becoming. So it's the doing and the taking action. It's the manifesting here, which is the masculine principle. It's the logic and the reason also of the mind, which is part of that masculine. So as we're going up this spiral, and each moment to moment is happening, rather than super wounded masculine feminine down in the lower scale of consciousness, where we're taking on this victimhood and or blame or shame or guilt, and pride and manipulation and anger and these obvious imbalances in the two principles. They come closer and closer as we move up into courage and into willingness and then into acceptance and then into love and unconditional love. And so we're getting the power of the higher self, the power which is in accordance with all. It is clearly the positive polarity that we're choosing here, okay, in the highest and best for all, versus more and more separation consciousness and disintegration into more evil, right? Further and further narcissistic, egoic, down to the depths of psychopathy and, really, really not where, at least you wouldn't be here. So not where you want to go. Let's just put it that way. It's still a choice. And beings that are having this incarnation now, just like any other time, there's a full balance. Everything is one. It's all playing out. There's a unity in everything. And if you can see that, you'll recognize that the shadow, the dark aspects, the darker beings, those who have chosen to live in that more negative polarity are, by contrast, because we live in a world of duality and contrast, are providing catalyst for the light to wake up to and continue to positively polarize. But if the light is taking this victim stance and looking for a savior outside of them and constantly looking outside of them, which essentially is, in the world of form, it's not going to happen there. You won't find it there. That's where you're continuously looking outside for something to make you whole. It doesn't work that way. You have to go inward, and from within is born a new reality without. So the higher up the spiral you go, in comes more creativity, more intuition and wisdom, and you're able to tap in and tune into the collective at higher levels, into the heavenly realms, and be able to pull down the ideas and the visions and the basically you are tuned into everything you've ever wanted, because the moment you thought it at any point in your life, it's already there. Abraham Hicks calls it the vortex. It's already there in the fifth dimension, that everything is created and there's no time or space there. We just need to pull it into the third dimension through the fourth in our being and how we are being, which is why we're being in a harmony between these two every day. That is our part. And staying focused and conscious in doing so, then we are manifesting it out in the third dimension, and we are manifesting abundance and love and all the things from those higher frequencies more effortlessly with less time, because you've mastered. You're not getting pulled into the past or worrying about the future. You're mastering your moments and you're present. So some tools here for sure, if you really want to accelerate this whole process. If you work with the body, breath work, somatic work, yoga, certainly things to help you get still. Meditation is priceless. Imaging or visualization is wonderful. The key is that you want to, while you are going through the process of feeling and thinking and feeling and thinking and starting to master how your emotions and your thoughts, okay? You're also quieting the mind, so you're not tuning into just the chatter at the bandwidth that you're at in the different frequency bandwidths. You're not looking outside of you for a new reality, because that's already done. You're looking within to create and change the perspective from within, which then will change the picture in the mirror on the outside. You're tuning in, as above, so below. You are tuning in and pulling in more inspired ideas, and you're taking inspired actions. Again, feminine it's coming in, and then the action is the masculine. So it's just this dance. It's this beautiful dance that gets more and more powerful, more and more effortless. Does that make sense? Less and less effortful. And then you create a momentum, and because you're witnessing your power in action. And so the gratitude is just, there's just this flow of giving and receiving at the same time. It's all one. There isn't a taking and keeping and controlling and holding on to and looking outside for somebody to save you, or manipulating the situation, trying to get, create enough harmony so you feel comfortable in your alone world. This is just the opposite. So when you when you start to really catch the vision that the mastery is in you deciding to do this work, and it is, I guess you could call it polarity work. I've never studied polarity work. It's just really what keeps coming. It's just coming to me. It's very, very obvious to me at this point. But in order to travel through from the lower, more suffering frequencies and dimensions of reality down here in the hell realm of suffering, we can move within this third dimensional physical reality. We can move up into the heavenly realms, because heaven is here on earth. This is how you bring heaven to earth. This is how you bring as above, so below, and then manifest and create it here in the third dimension to create this new world, as within, so without, working with the law of polarity and of rhythm and of correspondence and cause and effect. All of these essentially are the same. And we are moving that the dance of the masculine, feminine, the kundalini spiritual energy is rising and creating more and more energy in all of the chakras. The feminine top three that we tend to reside in, I say we, just the feminine, and the masculine lower, all meeting at the heart, bringing a coherence between the brain and the heart, where now at the heart, everything is alchemized back into love. So, man, so you get a feeling, you allow the feeling, you allow it to pass through. You can go then to the mind and say, how I would love see this. How do I bring this through the heart and see it differently? How can I learn something from it if needed, without diving into the ego anymore, stepping that ego aside and just saying, no, we're going to bring consciousness to this. The ego is not conscious. The ego is in the past and in the future. That's how it stays alive. That's how it feeds on the energy of the negative, the super high highs and the super low lows, the duality. That's how the ego feeds. We are coming into a center point, a sweet spot, the neutrality, but neutrality that is imbued with love and abundance and freedom. And that's what it feels like to be in union. All of the love that you could ever want is coming from you. It's with you. It's being sourced directly to you, and then radiates out and attracts to it all like frequency, all like people, situations, and so on. This is going to happen whatever level of consciousness you're at. And as you're spiraling up, you're going to start noticing a huge difference in what you are attracting in. And you're going to start creating more and more momentum as you start watching it, becoming more conscious. Again, meditating, doing the things to quiet yourself down, learn to accept the moment instead of fighting it and resisting it and repressing it, being with it, feeling it, and then alchemizing it into love. Oh my gosh, this is awakening. This is the path. You can be initiated into it, you can be forced into it, you can be catalyzed into it, whatever word you want to use. Or you can just choose this because you have that spiritual will within you, and you just want to choose this. But I will tell you right now, it's not coming from the outsider. Is it not going to be a savior? There's no chosen ones in the sense of to even think that you're chosen means you think you're special, which means you're separating yourself from the whole. We get to choose ourselves. We are the ones who are choosing to align with the all. And everything is somewhat paradoxical, which is just so interesting. And I'll talk about that more in the future. But I just really wanted to wrap up this series before I forgot. I mean, I didn't even wrap up and explain just how magical this journey is. It can be really rough at the base when it's a much slower, much more distant space between the wounded masculine, the wounded feminine within you, and then moving into the unity. But as you're going up that scale, I'm telling you, that is where that scale of consciousness, I keep pulling it up, is so it's going to help guide you and show you where you are in your own up spiral. It's going to show you. In fact, I do have another form that has the spirals on it. I forgot about this, the emotional guidance system. There's a lot of glare, so I apologize. But basically, there's two different images here. Here we go. That's a little bit better. There's a down spiral, and then there's an up spiral. And we are looking to create a momentum in the up spiral so we don't unconsciously spiral out. At least, again, if you're here, that's what we're doing. Okay, so I just wanted to wrap this series up with this part 4. Do make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. There'll be so much more coming. If you're interested in working with me to move you up this spiral faster and alchemize those energies together, that is what I do. Check the description box to learn more about that. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.